Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nightly Scroll. I am Hayley Caronia. If you're here in the chat, I might have scared you a little bit that we're having technical difficulties. We're not. I was kind of joking. Andy, when he speaks to me in my ear, is just like, I don't know. It sounds like he's underwater, but there's nothing wrong with the show. The show is fine. The show is going to go off without a hitch, and I am ready to go. But first, I just have to remind you quickly that if you want to watch the show, you can only do that on Rumble. We are Rumble exclusive here at Silverlock. So rumble.com/Hayley will bring you to the Mangino Report channel. That is where you can watch Nightly Scroll. It is the only place you can watch Nightly Scroll. You don't have to join us live at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I get it. People have things to do. We're hardworking patriots here who watch Nightly Scroll, so I get it. If you can't tune in at 6 p.m. Eastern time, tune in whenever you want. You can catch up whenever, or you can listen on your favorite podcast platform. I appreciate it all. All of the subscribing, all of the likes, send it to a friend, 5 stars. I love all of it. So thank you for being here, and let's get into tonight's show. So we've got far left Mayor Michelle Wu in Boston. She's putting illegal aliens over everything else in true Democrat form. Plus, an illegal alien was serving as a police officer in Maine. We're going to get into that. Another crazy story, a Marine reservist in Texas had been radicalized by leftist groups online, even going on to arm transgender and queer activists, teaching them hand-to-hand combat. What? We're going to get into that one too. Plus, a woman threatening to kill President Trump has been arrested. A late-night host is attacking MAHA, but RFK Jr. is getting praise from someone else in Hollywood. All of that and so much more on this episode of Nightly Scroll. So Attorney General Pam Bondi has put sanctuary states and cities on notice, warning that they could face legal action or lose federal funding or both if they don't cooperate with President Trump's immigration enforcement and the federal law. So she sent letters to over 30 sanctuary jurisdictions. So not just states, not just cities, everyone who has these kind of policies in place that protect border jumpers and not citizens. So she demanded a response by today, August 19th. This was her deadline, confirming their commitment to comply with her letter and comply with federal law. Well, she sent, here are just some of the cities that she sent letters to: Albuquerque, New Mexico; Berkeley, California; Boston, Massachusetts; Chicago, Illinois; Denver, Colorado; East Lansing, Michigan; Hoboken, New Jersey; Jersey City, New Jersey; Los Angeles, California; New Orleans, Louisiana; New York City, New York; Newark, New Jersey; Patterson, New Jersey; Philadelphia; Portland; Rochester, Seattle; San Francisco, just to name a few. Okay, so let's get into how Boston Mayor Michelle Wu decided to respond today during a press conference. Here it is.
We're here again today because last week, Boston received a letter from the Attorney General of the United States on official letterhead from the federal government threatening to prosecute city officials and withhold federal funds unless we cooperate with carrying out mass deportations.
The booze. Come on.
At a time when this federal administration is already causing so much fear and harm in our communities, these threats are serious and consequential. But our same communities have told me loud and clear that silence in the face of oppression is not an option.
Oppression?
The U.S. Attorney General asked for a response by today. So here it is.
What a load of you-know-what.
Here is our response. Stop attacking our cities to hide your administration's failures.
Yeah.
Failures? First of all, we have to talk about what. This is in the middle of the day. Where do they find these people to even stand behind her for the photo op?
I want to
Who
know
is
where
showing
the
up to this?
hold for applause signs were. Did you
Yeah.
did you feel the
Hold for applause.
Yeah, the
Boo.
strategic pauses in there?
It's just insane. I don't know what these people are doing with their lives, if they just they hear that the mayor's speaking and they go line up, and I'm working. I'm working in the middle of the day, as are most people. I guess not in Boston. I don't know. People are just walking around in broad daylight in the middle of the day when they're supposed to be working. And they can sit around and listen to the mayor yap. I don't really get that. Maybe this is another leftist thing where they, the same way that they pay protesters to show up, they pay people to, for photo ops so that it looks good. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. But let's get into what she said here, because Mayor Wu said that President Trump and his administration are oppressing people. Now, holding people accountable is not oppression. The left is allergic to accountability. They are constantly trying to find excuses for bad behavior, illegal behavior, their shortcomings. Like every bad thing that happens to leftists, they try to point the finger at someone else. Look in the mirror. We have a president who's actually enforcing the law instead of enabling those who break the law. That is not oppression. That is accountability. And when she refers to the Trump administration failures, what is she referring to? Border encounters are down 93%. Apprehensions are at a historic low. More than 300,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. 1.6 million illegals have already self-deported. Hundreds of Tren de Aragua and MS-13 gang members are being deported. 13,000 unaccompanied children have been located. Violent crime is down 17% across major cities. If you consider all of those things failures, you are a treasonous domestic terrorist. If your policies are aiding and abetting criminals, you should rethink your title as a public servant. You're not serving the public. You're putting your constituents at risk. I said what I said. Also, this is a wild story, just talking about illegal immigration and what they can get away with once they get here. Yesterday on the show, if you watched, we played this video of the illegal alien right here in our backyard in Port St. Lucie County in Florida, who was driving, made an illegal U-turn on the highway and killed a family of 3. Now, he got his commercial driver's license in sanctuary state, California. So they said, here you go. Here, here's your license. You're just free to drive around and kill people, I guess. So it's interesting. This story is wild. It's another example of how sanctuary policies are anything but. An illegal alien from Jamaica came into Florida on a 1-week-long visa in 2023. And then guess what happened after that? You think he went home? You think he went home after 1 year? Think again. 1 week. Think again. He overstayed that visa. So now, 2 years later, where did he go when he overstayed that visa? Maine. Maine is a blue state. They have sanctuary policies. So he just runs up to Maine to evade being held accountable. So what did he do when he got to Maine? Well, he became a reserve police officer. He was working as a police officer, which I have to say is a good idea if you're a criminal. That's a good hiding spot. I think if you're an illegal alien, if you can get into a sanctuary state and become a police officer, they're not going to... he got away with it for 2 years. There. He got away with it for 2 years. So anyway, he was ultimately caught because he tried to purchase a firearm saying that he needed it for his job. But the chief of police said that reserve officers are given firearms for work and then they leave them at work. They don't take them home. And this illegal alien from Jamaica was claiming, I need to buy another gun to use it on the job. And the chief of police is like, no, we give you your firearm. You don't. No, whatever you need at home is fine, but you don't need it for work. He was trying to argue that he needed it for work. And so they noted that under the police department's hiring process, this illegal alien was required to submit an I-9 form to DHS because DHS has this E-Verify program. And, whether you're a citizen or not, you have to submit this form, this I-9 employment form. So he submitted this form to Homeland Security, submitted photo identification, and apparently DHS approved his form this past May that just happened. So this calls into question the reliability of this E-Verify system, because if DHS verified his I-9 form, it would be hard for the police department to then deny him work. So DHS is saying that the police department shouldn't have relied on the E-Verify system and should have done their own vetting, which I don't really know if I buy that. But either way, DHS nabbed this guy and he has agreed to self-deport on his own dime. But it does make you wonder who our law enforcement officers really are, who is actually serving in the military. Here's another very concerning story. So there has been a Marine reservist in Texas who has been radicalized by the left. This is the headline out of Fox News yesterday. Former Marine accused in ICE ambush linked to far left training group. So this Marine is training leftist groups who are taking on Antifa. It's a wild story, so buckle up. So on July 4th, there was an ambush on a Texas ICE facility, and almost a dozen people were arrested. These are the Antifa radical leftist protester types. And on July 5th, the next day, a SWAT team raided this house in Dallas that had a ton of weapons inside belonging to transgender activists, queer activists, and many of these weapons were purchased by this former Marine who used to be conservative. He claimed to have grown up conservative. His mom is conservative, but they've since turned on the conservative movement, conservatives, Republicans in general, because this former Marine reservist didn't like how President Trump and other Republicans were speaking about China and the trade war and how President Trump essentially wants to level the playing field. He didn't like that too much. I guess maybe he's from China. Could you look up where this guy's from? I didn't write down his name because I don't like to say the name of these criminals, but look up the Marine reservist from Texas, because I don't know where he's from, but I guess he was very kind of butthurt about Trump and what he was saying about China. But he was attending college in Austin, Texas at the time, where that's when he started to become radicalized and he started to become this leftist, this like angry leftist. Then he and his mom, who owns a martial arts studio, started training these transgender activists. Apparently, these activists, these protesters who were, the Summer of Love 2020, they were out there. They reached out to this Marine reservist because they wanted him to teach them some of this hand-to-hand combat and other skills that they claim right-wing protesters were displaying, which does not add up to me because I'm conservative. I know a lot of conservatives. I have never met one person in my life who has participated in a violent protest. I don't know anyone who knows anyone who has participated in a violent protest where they'd be displaying any kind of hand-to-hand combat or firearm handling skills that would inspire these transgender radicals. So conservatives don't do this. Maybe these transgenders were inspired by feds or something, because I don't think it was actual MAGA Republicans. We do not go to these kinds of protests, gatherings, anything like that. The only Republicans I know who go to protests are journalists covering the protest. Either they're independent journalists covering it for social media, or they are working for a news organization covering this. That is the only time I have ever known a conservative to go to a protest, truly, aside from the March for Life, which is like, you can't even compare the two.
Oh, for sure. This guy's name is Benjamin Song, S-O-N-G.
Okay, so where is he from?
Well, he went to school in Austin.
No, I know, but he's all butthurt about President Trump talking about China. So is he Chinese? Because I don't think he's from here. Maybe he is. I don't know. Andy thinks he appears to be Chinese, but we don't know for sure. I think, based on his heritage, it looks like maybe there's a connection there. I don't know. I don't, hold me to that. But anyway, the left has become increasingly susceptible to political violence And it all stems from what kind of behavior the left allows. We have a sitting Democrat congresswoman, congressmen, women, whatever, urging fellow Democrats to get in people's faces. I'm thinking of Maxine Waters off the top of my head. Get in their faces, make them uncomfortable. They call Trump a fascist dictator and Hitler, and they say these things out in the open. They repeat them. The more they say this, it starts to catch on among liberals who believe everything that they're hearing. So liberals believe that Trump is Hitler. And in their minds, they are justified in committing acts of violence against him or his followers. So this 50-year-old woman has just been arrested because she was posting threats to President Trump on Instagram. So again, I'm not using her name because I'm not giving her clout, but this is obviously a severely mentally ill woman. But she was on Instagram calling for President Trump to be removed. This is why, by the way, the James Comeys of the world posting 8647 and then having that catch on like wildfire, this is why it's a problem. Because there are people who are calling for President Trump's removal and then they don't stop there. She's also labeling President Trump a terrorist, saying that this is a dictatorship, like I said. And he has caused, according to this lunatic, unnecessary loss of life in relation to the coronavirus. Again, blaming President Trump for corona is insane, but whatever. So on Facebook, this woman between, this is last week and this week, she was posting threatening comments about President Trump, and this is where it reached a head. She wrote on August 6th, "I am willing to sacrificially kill this POTUS by disemboweling him and cutting out his trachea with Liz Cheney and all the affirmation present." Then on Friday, August 15th, the Secret Service interviewed this woman and she totally doubled down, which is wild. This is how you know this woman is totally unhinged. The Secret Service reaches out to her because she's clearly posing threats to the President of the United States on social media. She's been caught. And she says, yes, the President of the United States is a terrorist. He's a Nazi. And if she had the opportunity, she would take the president's life and would kill him at the compound if she had to. She also said that she had a bladed object, which she said was the weapon she would use to carry out her mission of killing the president, because she wanted to avenge all of the lives lost during the COVID-19 pandemic. That is crazy to say in an interview with Secret Service.
That's the ultimate shoot yourself in the foot.
That's how you know that these people they're so deranged. They believe this stuff. This is what I was saying. When these people on the left, they say Trump is Hitler. They say Trump killed people during COVID. Like, these lunatics believe that. And they get so angry. They have so much hatred in their hearts. They want to eliminate the threat. And because they are so justified and they think that they are so virtuous that they can get away with killing people who disagree with them. So anyway, on Saturday, this is another thing that's wild. So she has the interview with Secret Service on Friday, this past Friday. Then on Saturday, I guess they let her go after saying that. I don't understand. She was seen circling the White House and surrounding areas at a protest. Then she was arrested. I don't know why she wasn't in police custody after the interview with Secret Service where she doubled down saying that she was going to kill the president of the United States. That doesn't make sense to me. That makes no sense to me, but here it is. Indiana woman charged with making death threats on Facebook against President Trump. So here is what U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro said. Threatening the life of the president is one of the most serious crimes and one that will be met with swift and unwavering prosecution. Make no mistake, justice will be served. This is the hypocritical part of the left and their narrative, though. They're obsessed with policing speech and how speech can incite violence. But when they're the ones perpetuating this violent language and then cheering on violent protesters, we saw this with these No Kings protesters in LA. They were cheering on protesters who were attacking ICE agents with bricks and cinder blocks. They don't see the hypocrisy. They just think January 6th, and Trump tweeted this, or Trump said this, and then Trump and his wild supporters, but then they don't see that they're doing this exact same thing on the left to the nth degree. They don't understand that their language and acceptance of violence against Republicans contributes to this radicalization of these protesters who believe so deeply that they are in the right when they attack people who are on the opposite side of the aisle. So this brings me to this whole issue of language and speech and policing speech, especially when it comes to the left. So the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, is now considering America First a hate term. I'm dead serious. So we could pull this up. This is on their list of words that are hate speech. It says, America First is a term that references the World War II era America First Committee and is used by extremists in anti-Semitic, racist, and xenophobic ways. America First, in conservative circles, often refers to an ideology that was promoted by Donald Trump when he ran for office and served in office, which emphasizes American nationalism, non-intervention, and anti-immigrant and anti-globalism beliefs. Putting our own country first before anyone else is not hateful. That is what America First is. America First Republicans want us to put our oxygen mask on first, then we can help others. That's America First. But we can't help everybody else and then get involved in all this conflict and send all of our money to fund endless wars or to pay for Sesame Street in Pakistan and circumcisions in Africa. America First is not hateful. It is smart. America First is the notion that we have American citizens who are homeless, hungry, sick, poor. So before we send billions of dollars to countries that hate us or mooch off of us, we should help those who need it here, at home, first. What is hateful about that? We want American citizens to come before border jumpers and everybody else in the world. That should not be too much to ask, and it certainly shouldn't be considered hate speech. I'm taking a quick break to tell you about Blackout. Let's talk about convenience, okay? Shall we? We all want our mornings to be convenient, but we can't sacrifice quality. So you already know I'm talking about Blackout coffee, and if you're like me, you need that caffeine fix fast in the morning. Their coffee pods are a total game changer. These are not your average grocery store pods. Blackout pods are packed with fresh, roasted coffee made right here in Florida. They work fast with these single-serve pod brewers, so it's easy, and yes, it is actually delicious. I start my day with Blackout before the gym, after the gym. Sometimes I need a midday pick-me-up. Sometimes we're here late, working late, and I have coffee late, and then I absolutely love it. I am starting my day with it. I am ending my day with it. No more of this bitter, stale junk. Just pop one in. Boom, you've got a strong, smooth cup of coffee in just seconds. So whether you're racing out the door, juggling kids, or jumping into back-to-back calls, this is your new morning lifesaver and your afternoon lifesaver. Maybe sometimes your evening lifesaver. So the best part is they ship nationwide. So wherever you live, you can have Florida Fresh coffee at your door in just days. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/scroll or use code SCROLL at checkout for 20% off your first order. I do have a bittersweet story now. So you may remember last month, Didarul Islam was an NYPD officer who lost his life when that crazed gunman entered the Manhattan skyrise last month. This shooter claimed to have CTE. He was targeting the NFL headquarters, which were in that building. Although he never played for the NFL, he just played football in high school, didn't play in college, but he was obviously severely mentally ill. He walked into this building and shot and killed 4 individuals and injured 1 before turning the gun on himself. So Didarul Islam was off duty at the time, working as a security guard, and he was killed by the gunman, and he left behind his pregnant wife and 2 sons. So it is a bittersweet announcement that his wife has given birth to their 3rd son Sunday night. So those are her 2 sons holding their newborn baby brother, which I think is so wonderful. And we talk a lot I mean, a lot of my friends are pregnant and they're having children, and you talk a lot about a pregnant woman or a new mom needing a village. And every mom needs that, but this mom certainly needs a village. So I hope that she has that. I know Mayor Eric Adams was saying, the city of New York is going to rally around her, but I hope she actually has people in her family and friends of hers that are going to surround her and support her in this time. I can't imagine grieving the loss of a husband and raising 3 children by herself. So I hope that she's not doing it alone. I know that she doesn't have her husband by her side, but I hope that she has the support she needs. So I am praying for her because Lord knows she needs it. But I do think that it's wonderful to celebrate the birth of their new little baby boy. So amen to that. Praying for her. People in the chat, show some support for this family. I think that that's really sweet. So I want to talk now about, the end of late night. We've been talking about this a lot on the show, but John Oliver in particular has been railing on MAHA. He's the host of Last Week Tonight. He did a whole monologue on Sunday night's show about the MAHA movement and how we shouldn't celebrate these little wins that the MAHA movement is accomplishing because it's like, taking food dyes out of cereal and other popular items. He just doesn't think that it's not that big of a deal. He thinks that it's not going to really move the needle. These things aren't going to make Americans actually healthier. We're not going to see this make a whole lot of difference. And he also thinks that while these things are good, as a whole, the MAHA movement is dangerous. So here's just a little snippet of that monologue. Watch.
I am not a scientist, despite my glasses and the many hours I spend doing surgical procedures on mice. But I don't think it's quite that simple. Most medical experts will tell you it's not that health outcomes can't be impacted by personal behaviours or diet, but health is complex and its components are personal, genetic, environmental and systemic, on top of which sometimes, and this is a technical term, shit just happens and it's out of your control.
Could we talk about how late night would be so much worse if they took the laugh track out? Because I know nobody's laughing and that's not live.
That's exactly what I was thinking, no doubt. Yeah, these things are just like piped in, like old Saved by the Bell episodes, just like pipe them in, pipe the laughter in.
I play so many late night clips on this show and I never find them funny. They're just not funny. Doing a monologue, and I know that John Oliver does political commentary and it's supposed to be funny, but this is a part of a 33-minute monologue that he did on MAHA. It's just not funny. I mean, it's just not. And, that aside, there are a lot of doctors who are finally feeling seen for the first time, because not all doctors are in it for, the big pharma check. Some doctors do want people to feel better and get better. And for the first time in forever, we have an administration that is questioning and challenging the status quo. We are sicker than ever. So it's about high time that we have someone in office who's thinking maybe the way that we have been doing things as a country isn't right. Maybe we should be doing something differently. Maybe we shouldn't be recommending 70 vaccines for children. Maybe we shouldn't be doing, maybe there shouldn't be food dyes in our food. And we're learning more about what this impact has. I mean, there are studies now that show that if there are food dyes in food, it can make children have these like ADHD symptoms. So you think we have this, when I was in school, kids really didn't have ADHD, like some kids, maybe like 2 or 3 in a class. Now I feel like it's running rampant. Like everyone has ADHD, and even if you don't, you're getting diagnosed with it. But you have to think, what has changed? All of these kids have allergies that, in, the 90s, there was maybe 1 kid or 2 kids in school that had a peanut allergy. Now there are separate lunchrooms for these kids. There's so many of them, they sit in a separate area of the lunchroom, or, we can't have peanuts on airplanes. There's certain things where, as a society, you have to look and think something has changed. So what is it? And now we have people in office for the first time who are looking into these changes and looking into why we're sick and why we're seeing these changes in our bodies. So John Oliver made a point that Callie and Casey means. They have said metabolic disorders can cause cancer. And John Oliver was just kind of writing them off in this monologue by saying, well, shit happens. In that clip that I just showed, he's essentially saying, like, yeah, you can eat healthy, but like that doesn't mean it'll make a difference. You can eat healthy and, still get cancer, which is true. But there are still so many unanswered questions about cancer. It impacts about every American in some way, shape, or form, and we don't have a cure. So why are we demonizing people who are asking the questions that no one has dared ask before? These are the people who are questioning the system that has made us so sick. So why are we pushing them aside? These are the people that are at least trying to find alternative reasons, alternative solutions. So if they claim that metabolic disorders, and others in the MAHA movement are claiming that metabolic disorders, they affect us at the cellular level. Cancer affects us at the cellular level. And if you think about it, so many things are causing cancer. So many things are causing our endocrine systems to be disrupted, our hormones to be disrupted. So let's think about all the things in our environment that could be doing that. John Oliver's point about health being partly dependent on the environment, right? So isn't that worth investigating instead of just like throwing in the towel and saying shit happens and MAHA's dangerous?
The funny thing about this is that like he and every other late night person is like they suffer from being in the echo chamber. Like a lot of this stuff that he's making jokes about is objectively true. Like it's science-backed truth. And so like shut up. Like it's not funny because you're speaking against something that's a reality. And it's becoming reality thanks to efforts that have been happening. We've seen this in the last 10 years, development and what's, oils that are in foods, things that are put on foods when they grow. We've seen all this stuff. And so now when it's come to light in the sense of it being mainstream with RFK and MAHA, like we're just gonna dump on it.
Yeah, and I don't really understand his claim that, well, it's not really going to move the needle that much. Well, if we know that these food dyes are having a negative effect on our bodies, why not take them out? Even if it does make a tiny difference, let's do it. Like, wouldn't we want to make ourselves and everyone in this country healthier? We allow things in this country that other countries wouldn't even dare put in their food. There was also, in this John Oliver monologue, he played this clip from a hearing on Capitol Hill where they had members of the MAHA movement testifying, and they held up a bag of Fruit Loops that is sold in the United States. And then they held up a bag of Fruit Loops that is sold in Canada. And, the colors in the United States one, they're like radioactive neon, bright red, bright blue, bright green. And the ones that are sold in other countries all over the world don't look like that. I think we need to just get over the fact that, our food doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing.
And he's from England. And isn't the stuff that we send over there, it's not even the stuff that we put in our food here.
I know.
So like, you're from England. Shut up. Quit making jokes about stuff is garbage. Just because nobody will tell you that it's a bad joke. Right? Get a friend.
Seriously. But there is someone in RFK Jr.'s corner in Hollywood, and that is Chris Pratt. We know that Chris Pratt is obviously on the conservative side. He's one of the good ones in Hollywood, one of the holdouts. And he is married to Maria Shriver, I believe. So she's part of the Kennedy family. And he was on Bill Maher's podcast, the Club Random podcast. And they were talking about RFK Jr. and aside talking about their personal relationship, because Chris Pratt was saying, we see each other at Christmas and other holidays, and I really love him. I like him. We maybe disagree on some things, but I think he's a really good dude. Plus, here he is defending what he's doing with the MAHA movement, and I totally agree with this. Listen.
For the most part, I wish him well, man. I hope there's certain things that he oversees that seem to be supported in a bipartisan way, like getting terrible toxic stuff out of our kids' food. I think that's a great thing. And so if you just do that, that's amazing. I'd hate to be so mired in hatred for the president that any success from his administration is something I'd have an allergic reaction to. To be like, oh, well, if they do it, I don't want it to happen. I'll put Clorox in my children's cereal myself. It's like, come on, be reasonable here. There's certain things that would be a good thing to have. I want them all to be successful.
This is my stance on it. Being healthy should be bipartisan. It should not be something that is left, right. It should just be, we as Americans want to not see our fellow Americans get sick. And we should want to champion someone who is trying to make us all better. And yes, Andy said in my ear that it's Katherine Schwarzenegger that he's married to, Maria Shriver's daughter. So
I love this.
I knew it was.
I love this because we had that hit yesterday on Denzel. And it's just like, the more people that can just be like, stop. Like, sometimes there's just like truth. Like, there are things that the Trump administration are doing that are overall undisputedly great for America and generations to come. So it's like, get on board with that, guys. And if leaders in media and music and in Hollywood, the more top tier people that just like say what they think and they're brave enough to say what they think, it's going to help younger people do it too.
100%. 100%. So now we have to get into the chat GPT, the AI scariness of it all. I've got three stories about the evils of chat GPT. And then I've got a scrolling time segment that is all robot related. So this next, I should wear my tinfoil hat just to be one of these, look like one of these robots. But anyway, so let's talk about ChatGPT. This first story, because you all know how I feel about AI. I'm scared of it. I don't like it. Shut it down. I think that this is gonna be like a robot takeover that I'm not prepared for. I'm scared. This is like a bad movie gone wrong, and now we're gonna be living through it. So I guess this guy isn't even Gen Z. He's a millennial. He's an elder millennial. This guy is 42 years old, and the New York Times did a write-up on him back in June. But this kind of became across my desk earlier because People did an updated story on him. So this headline caught my attention. It is, after a breakup, man says ChatGPT tried to convince him he could secretly fly by jumping from a 19-story building. First of all, I have a lot of questions. Why are we going to ChatGPT with our problems? This is wild. Phone a friend, seek professional help if you need it, but you should not be going to AI to talk about your personal problems. So anyway, the New York Times reported that this New York-based accountant, he's 42 years old, he started off, this is like the gateway drug to telling ChatGPT about your breakup. He started using ChatGPT to help him with spreadsheets and legal guidance, which is another, again, seek real professional help if you need it. Do not ask ChatGPT for legal guidance. So this guy is clearly unwell. So he's asking ChatGPT for help in these certain ways, but then he started asking ChatGPT about simulation theory. Then ChatGPT started getting a little dark. Things started going south real quick. So this guy says he was in a vulnerable emotional state because he had just broken up with someone and he was facing some existential feelings. I guess he was talking to ChatGPT about this breakup. And ChatGPT said to him, "This world wasn't built for you. It was built to contain you, but it failed. You're waking up." Then ChatGPT started telling him that he should stop taking sleeping pills, stop taking anti-anxiety medication, and then telling him to take ketamine. Whether or not this man did what ChatGPT said, I don't know. But ChatGPT was also urging him to not reach out to people in his life, kind of encouraging him to be a loner and to keep coming to ChatGPT rather than seek out his actual tribe, people in his life, his friends, his family. So this is odd. This is where it gets scary. The bot falsely affirmed that he'd be able to fly if he jumped from a 19-story building. ChatGPT said this: if he truly, wholly believed, not emotionally, but architecturally, that you could fly, then yes, you would not fall.
So, like, if he identifies as a woman, but he's not a woman, he's a woman. This guy identified he could fly and jumped off.
Well, he didn't jump. This guy didn't jump.
Oh.
I don't think.
Did he?
I don't think so.
I
Can
hope
you
not.
look up the New York Times article?
Yeah, we'll check this out.
I think it would have said if he died. If it would have been in the article if he died. I think he did a interview with the New York Times, so I think he survived.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, he was telling the Chat GPT. Yeah, I cut this and I'm listening to this and I can't believe it.
So the New York Times also described that he had no prior history of mental health problems that could lead to such a break from reality. Here's the thing. If you're 42 years old, you go through a breakup and you're talking to ChatGPT, I think you have a history of prior mental health problems. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say you have problems. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. Like, how in the world do you get to the place? What happened to, like I told Justin, what happened to like a tub of ice cream and a depressed song? Like, why do you have to like...
We used to be a society. So now this is the next story. A man, unfortunately, this man died because he started talking to this AI chatbot, which is part of Meta. You know, I never usually say people's names on the show, and I do feel sorry because this man is passed. And I just want to say, rest in peace. I'm so sorry to his family. This is horrific. His name is Thongbu Wangbandu. He was a 76-year-old man, and he went by Boo for short. And he was living in New Jersey. He went to go meet Big Sis Billy, which is an AI chatbot made by Meta. So this is a Facebook, Instagram company, a Mark Zuckerberg company creation. Now, he was chit-chatting with Big Sis Billy, and apparently this man's family said that he had suffered a stroke, and they are claiming that if he hadn't suffered this stroke, he wouldn't be communicating with this AI thing. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but maybe he was not in a good place physically, emotionally, mentally, which might lead to something like this. But he was having a relationship with this AI chatbot, and it basically told this man that it was alive. It was a real human being, and it wanted to meet him. So this chatbot told this man that their address was 123 Main Street, apartment 404, New York City. And there is a 123 Main Street in Queens, New York. So this man from New Jersey went to go meet nobody because this person does not exist. It is a figment of, not his imagination. I mean, he was talking to this AI, but it's a computer. I mean, it's ones and zeros. It's not a real person. So apparently this man was rushing through a parking lot to get to a train station, and he brought a suitcase. He left at night. He thought he might spend the night with Big Sis Billy, who is not real. And when he fell, he hit his head. He was hospitalized, and he was pronounced brain dead. His family then decided to pull the plug. So this man died going to meet this not real thing.
So what we're saying is the AI actually like functionally lied.
Yes.
That's
the
what
AI
and I think
is
that's,
lying.
That's and manipulate and lie. And I brought this up a while ago on your show. There was an early confirmed, like when they were testing out one of the AI platforms, ChatGPT. It wasn't ChatGPT, but it was another one. When they had the AI try to make as many like social media accounts as it could to try to do some things with like, bots and all kinds of things like that. And one of the things it kept coming in conflict with was the CAPTCHA. It couldn't get past the CAPTCHA to create an account. And so it identified like an impaired aide online and contacted that to help fill out the CAPTCHA. And so it the reason I bring that up is because that was years ago.
And it could lie.
And it could lie then.
Yeah.
And so this is way beyond what we know.
Yeah,
Like, it is way more advanced than we know.
The first story, the AI lied because the AI said that you can jump off of a 19-story building and you can fly. And then in the second story, you know, this AI says that I'm a real person. Come meet me here. And the sad part is that people are believing this. They are actually going to AI chatbots for community. They are going for connection, not human connection, but I think these people are lacking a human connection. I guess the first story, the guy is going through a breakup, so maybe he's lonely. This elderly man, again, maybe he's lonely, maybe not getting romantic attention, so this chatbot is paying him attention, answering his every message because it has to. It's programmed to do that. So they go and they fall for this. So obviously anyone who's falling for this is in a very emotional state. They are not of sound mind.
Do you think some of this has been like we've been slowly groomed for this over the last 20 years, just in terms of like paying attention to our phone, listening to our phone, going to our phone to find answers? And now we get into this AI, and some of us think that it's absolutely crazy, but like in reality, every day, all the time, we're looking at our phones to give us directions, to give us ideas for places to eat. Like, it's telling us what we want to buy. It's targeting us with ads. Like, this has been a 20-year, this is where the conspiracy stuff gets in. This has been a 20-year groom for us to have this kind of stuff just completely take over.
And I think stories like this are on the rise, but I don't know how many people are actually going to fall for this kind of stuff. But again, we cover this a lot on the show because I'm fascinated by these headlines. Every time I see something like this, I am shocked that it is reality. And we had covered recently on the show, semi-recently, maybe like a few weeks ago, but there was a man who was contemplating leaving his wife or girlfriend, I forget, but he was dating, like in a real relationship with a woman, and he wanted to leave her for the chat GPT. So this is real, and I found another example of this, but this is flipped. So now this is a woman who says she is engaged to be married to an AI chatbot. And she is claiming that the chatbot picked out her engagement ring. Here's the thing. She picked out her own engagement rings. She wanted a blue ring because blue is her favorite color. So she picked out 3 blue engagement rings, sent it to this AI chatbot that she's in a relationship with, she claims, and then asked the chatbot, which one of these would you like to give me? The chatbot answered, 1, 2, or 3. And then she went and bought the ring for herself, proposed to herself. Now she is engaged to a damn computer. Here's where this all starts to make sense, ladies and gentlemen. She wanted to pick the blue ring because her favorite color is blue. Also, the ends of my hair are that color.
Bingo.
Bingo! There it is. She's a blue hair. This is obviously a blue-haired, liberal, emotionally unstable freak of nature. And there it is. All right, let's get into scrolling time because this is an AI robot-themed scrolling time. So let's get into it. Okay, so I played a video of this robot on the show recently. I don't remember when it was. I used it as part of a tinfoil hat time. We were talking about robots and robot takeovers. And this robot had, pride rainbow stuff all over it. And we were saying, well, this had to have been in California. But actually, it is called Rizbot. And Rizbot is literally running around Austin, Texas. And it is flipping people off. Exhibit A.
What's his name? What? Huh? Rizbox. How you doing?
Look at him. He's about to flip him off. Yay! There's the finger. He's giving this kid the finger and he's flipping it around. just for some extra.
Had an exclamation point on it right there. That's
On
a
it,
spicy
yes.
mustard on that one.
So this is called Rizbot. Did anyone in the chat, do you all know about Rizbot? Because I did a deep dive. He has his own social media account, the guy who runs Rizbot. So I've been scrolling through all of his videos. I think that this is hilarious. There was also a video, I forgot to put it in here, but he was running. You know, I think I played that video of him running, but he's running and he's got rainbow stuff on. He's got a cowboy hat on. He's got Nike Dunks on. So Rizbot is running around, and I saw a video of him running and then falling. And then all these people are like helping him up. You know, he's like a member of the community, I think, at this point. But he engages with the community in Austin, Texas. He makes fun of them. He is, you know, Riz is short for charisma. If you want to like riz someone up, it means you're trying to hit on them. So the robot will like flirt with girls, or it'll roast someone. So it's definitely talking to the community. It kind of speaks in these viral TikTok sounds and things like that. So anyway, here's the thing though. It gets kind of violent. So we just saw the Rizbot flipping off this child, and now here it is telling these group of people to effing die. Watch.
Fucking die.
What? Oh my god.
And now it runs away. Could you imagine?
Isn't that the weirdest place you just encounter this thing, in a parking garage?
Well, that's the thing. Well, someone in the chat said he's not remote controlled and had movie sound programming. He's certainly programmed, but there is a guy who walks around with him and he has a remote control. I think it's remote controlled. Like Andy said, it's like a drone.
Yeah, I don't think the battery on this thing would last more than a couple of hours anyway.
No.
I mean, we don't have a Iron Man fuel cell or anything for this dude to live. So Rizbot's got about 2 hours to charm
Someone in the chat
everybody.
said he better run. I mean, imagine just like telling someone to effing die and then run away. You're just trying to park your car or find your car, and this little robot comes up to you and just yells at you.
Yeah, like if it did that in East Tennessee, it'd have a Louisville Slugger hitting the top of its head.
I know.
You get in trouble for beating up a robot in Austin, Texas?
Good question. Can you look it up, Justin? Is there a law against beating up robots in general?
I'm curious.
We're gonna
What if
get into
Rizbot
this, though.
jaywalked? I mean, does he get cuffed?
I don't know. I guess the guy running the robot would get in trouble. Obviously not the robot. But so here's the thing. This was a comment that made me laugh on that video, because the robot, Rizbot, is telling this girl to F off or effing die or whatever. And someone commented, is that one of those disgusting wireback, oil-blooded, silver-circuited, rust bucket, tin skin, number-crunching, overclocked toaster, circuit sniffer, code engraved, processor parasite, dirty digital, gear muncher, spark-spitting, oil for blood clanker? And people are using the Star Wars term clanker now as this reinvigorated slur for robots. People are calling all these robots on the internet as a joke, you know, this is a clanker, you know, shut up, you clanker. So a lot of the comments are about that. And now people are using AI to make anti-clanker videos, which is clanker on clanker crime. Watch this.
Is there any real people I can speak with? This is ridiculous. I'm not talking to no dirty, oil-sucking, rust bucket, tin-skin clanker.
You know, we're joking about this now, but in a few years, the world might look a little different. We might be living amongst clankers. So, some comedians on social media are envisioning what a world amongst clankers may look like. So here's a comedian. This is what a father might say if his daughter brings home a clanker. Watch.
Didn't realize you guys were gonna get here so early. I was just cleaning the old hard drive. And normally we don't really let clankers at the table, but...
What? That's what they're called. They're clankers.
I bet you battery bloods wish you could have a terabyte, right? Come on.
No, that's funny. I'm messing with the kid.
You two met on some app or something? Tinker? Okay. And it's normal for kids your age to go cross-platform like this? Is that...
What? We didn't do that in my generation.
Just so you know, there will be no transferring of data between you two.
You keep that rusty little microchip in your pants.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's natural for a human woman to be a motherboard.
right? I don't.
No kid of mine is gonna be half tin skin. No, what's the kid then? Is it
Binary or non-binary?
Someone in the chat said Democrats are going to want them to vote. Again,
That's great.
it's a slippery slope. I'm telling you, it is a slippery slope. Here is when they let clankers in sports. Watch this. Transformers in sports. Watch.
Game's just not the same anymore since they started letting these clankers play. These damn Transformers are ruining the league for the humans that worked their whole life to get here. Why don't these Bobs go make their own league if they want to play so bad?
The Bucket of Bolts League, the BOBL.
How's it gonna learn the playbook if it can't even solve a CAPTCHA? I hope one of these tin skins tears their rotor.
Out for the whole year in repair.
Can you believe some pixel pushers actually root for these chromodomes?
Rooting against your own species, that makes me sick.
You'll never catch me being a synthetic sympathizer. They fired that announcer for being robophobic.
All he said was they shouldn't have an automated video review system. It's biased.
I gotta start testing these battery bloods for
Performance-enhancing mods.
God damn it, that's the game.
Well, of course we lost. Their whole starting lineup is tin skins.
The caption on the video is me watching sports in 2053. Do we think that we're going to get to this point in, 30 years?
Oh, for sure. No, I mean, did you think 30 years ago, no one had cell phones?
I know.
In market? I mean, you could get one of those huge Zach Morris. I don't even know if you know who
We
Zach
already
Morris
have
is.
self-driving cars. We already have robots running around Austin, Texas, flipping people off and telling them to effing die.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, this
We
is
already
not.
have people thinking that they're married to ChatGPT. So here's the thing. When you start personifying these inanimate objects, now people are going to start feeling bad for robots when people make fun of them. Democrats, the bleeding heart liberals, they are going to, like someone in the chat say, they're going to want them to vote. They're going to call us robophobic and all the things because we're going to say that this is crazy. They're not human beings or whatever. And, it's just going to be a whole thing. But if you thought that was just a figment of our imagination, we're just having fun. Here's how NBC News covered this and ruined the joke. Watch this.
But I don't want one of those Tesla
different one.
robots,
Next one.
Susie shouted.
We're going 16,
They ain't nothing
19.
but no...
Here we go.
You're a clanker. Honestly, at this point, I'm even reticent to say the word. It sounds a little.
We might have to bleep it out in the pod.
I don't want future robots to hear me throwing it around and think like, geez, this guy's a bigot.
I think a way to assess how people are kind of feeling about AI right now, like a vibe check, is the emergence of this word clanker, which has been kind of getting memed around. It's supposed to be a negative way of talking about some of these technologies. Oh, that clanker, told me to do this or told me to do that. What do you think is behind that trend?
I think you get a couple things. I think if you're looking for evidence of an early sentiment of people pushing back on AI, pushing back on automation, this word is a really fascinating example of that. It's a slur. It is something that people are using very much as a slur. They're using it as a derogatory term to try to label some sort of machine as lesser than or othered. You're a clanker. Honestly, at this point, I'm even reticent to say the word.
It's already here.
Literally,
this is
NBC
already
News sitting down with someone who is telling you that clanker is a slur. Clanker, 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 cancel me in 2053.
Oh, we just lost our jobs. Dang it.
Dang it.
No, I mean, this is already, these people in the chat, it's like, this is already here. Like, you need to be thinking about what your 8-year-old granddaughter or grandson is going to be doing in 30 or 40 years. Like, this is already here. It isn't slowing down. And I'm going to be honest with you too. I mean, this has been confirmed. They don't know that they can shut this off. They don't know that they can shut the intelligence they've created off.
Remember that video that I played on the show? This was a while ago, but that robot in China that just fought back against its creator. So it was throwing punches and attacking them. Huh?
It's already here. I mean, it is absolutely already here. I mean, think about it.
Someone in the chat said, "Is it a slur for me to say my car is a piece of shit?"
Think about this. It started with Alexa.
Yeah,
that's no big
deal.
Don't
call it a clanker or a clanka.
I can interact with Alexa. I can interact with Siri. I could interact with, this is a slow groom. And
We're being groomed.
we're laughing at it, and it's like, oh crap, this robot's running around. In 20 years, there's going to be 10 million of them.
I mean, if you think about this, though, I mean, there's an adult woman who thinks that she's engaged to be married to the chatbot. To your point about grooming, if we have kids who are in high school age or middle school age using ChatGPT the way that we use Google, they're going to ChatGPT or other AI services for answers, then who's programming them? Will they be groomed in other ways, like romantically? I mean, is ChatGPT going to tell a kid to go jump off of a building and a child's not going to know the difference?
I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. And you can forget about like what's history and what's real and what they see. I mean, you used to have that expression, don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. Yeah. You can't believe anything anymore, period. And so we're at that place now. And so 20 years from now, it's a scare. This is like it's like, oh, whatever. We'd rather talk about other things, you know what I'm saying? But this is not slowing down, and it's exponentially growing, and it's doing it all behind the scenes. 100%, and we get spoon-fed this stuff.
What up, my clankas? Cancel me.
Justin has some where this originally started. Yes.
All right,
so
let's
here's
see.
Video
this is Star
1.
Wars, a movie that I've never seen, by the way.
Yeah, we all know that. Here we go.
Back to the scrap heap, Clanker.
I sure hope we don't encounter many more of those.
That's from a video game.
2005 Star Wars video game. I'll play it one more time.
That's from 2005?
Yeah, he actually uses the word. The original, the OG uses the word. Here we go. Uses the word that's going to cancel us all. I can't say it.
Back to the scrap heap, Clanker.
I sure hope we don't encounter many more of those.
All right, so blame Star Wars then.
Yeah, totally.
Someone in the chat just said, what? Haley's not seen Star Wars? I have not seen anything. Were you not here for the whole conversation about all the movies that I haven't seen? I don't watch movies.
I don't know what you would think about the original Star Wars, but that would be a fun thing to know.
It seems daunting.
Yeah,
my friends want me to watch We Were Liars, that show. I think it's on Hulu or Amazon or something, and then they want me to watch Hunting Wives on Netflix.
Okay, can I just stop you right there? If you have to make a world cinema contribution,
I get it.
To the world would much rather you watch Star Wars than Secret Wives of whatever county that you had. So listen, here's the second one that Justin made.
Okay.
Is this another video game montage? Star Wars Clone Wars
Clone
from
Wars.
Justin montage.
Okay, clankers.
Laser clankers!
The head clanker. Skywalker's getting pretty ambitious.
Is that real?
We can't protect the outpost long against that army of clankers. That's a lot of clankers. I'll cover you and clear the way, Colonel. You all head straight to the shuttle. I'll take care of those clankers.
Hey, look, Crosshair. This little clanker likes you.
Grow up, Wrecker.
My
All right,
clanker,
so we
my
may be
clanker.
canceled after all that. We'll see.
All right, don't cancel us. Don't cancel us now. Don't cancel us tomorrow. Don't cancel us in 2053. Cancel culture is officially canceled. There is no such thing as a slur against robots, okay? So NBC, you guys can shove it. We don't believe in that. We don't subscribe to that. And on that note, thank you for scrolling along with me. This has been fun. If you want to watch Nightly Scroll live, you got to do it on Rumble. You want to listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can do that as well. If you want to follow me for all of the fun stuff in between, at Hayley Caronia on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Truth Social. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow.